What's up, squash players? I've been getting a lot of questions as I have been reviewing the Dunlops. So far I've done the reviews of these Evolution models and asking how these compare with each other and with some other rackets. And I am going to tell you how these three rackets compare in this video. This is the new Sonic Core Evolution 130, 120, and this is the racket I played with last year extensively, the Hyperfiber XT Pro Light. So I've been most comfortable with this racket coming back from the pandemic, and it's a bit heavier, a little, and it feels more kind of like solidly weighted throughout the racket. It's a bit slower moving through the air as a result of that kind of feeling of like the density in the middle of it is how it feels to me. And people ask me sometimes, and this is kind of goes in general sense of, people ask, well, how is the control, or how is the, what's the trade-off between power and control? And sometimes like one racket, depending on how you're playing, will give you both more power and more control. And for me right now, I would say that that's this 130. And I think that the reason is that as I'm coming back, I'm still trying to kind of rebuild my game and remember how to play squash. And like my swing is slower, I'm later on the ball, and I'm just more lumbering in general, just moving more slowly around the court. So to have a little bit heavier racket, it helps to kind of keep you structured in a way. I would say the other end of the coin in comparison to rackets is the Pro Light. If I were to put them on a spectrum, it's like kind of bulkiest, which sounds like a negative, but it's actually, I'm trying to tell you, it's a positive in this case. It's kind of the bulkiest. This one feels a little bit in between. It's a bit lighter, it's got a little bit of head heaviness, but it's a bit more maneuverable than the 130. And this is the quickest of all three of those rackets. The problem is, right now, like my swing isn't grooved enough to take advantage of being able to jump on a ball really quickly and use the lightness of this racket to come in and attack a ball in short, because like my mechanics are kind of screwed up. So right now, even though this was like my favorite racket last year, this isn't doing it for me right now. And please, like, these are all three great rackets, and if I played with any of them for a length of time, I would get used to it. So like, just pick a good racket. You don't need to get into the minute detail, which I tend to try to do on this channel, but you don't need to worry about it too much. All I'm saying is, right now, more power and more control for me, because it's a little bit slower through the air and more deliberate. This one felt good after I was tired and I didn't want to have the extra kind of, slightly extra bulk, but I'm not quite ready for it. And this one, I would say, is I would have to get my act together a little bit more on the court in order to make the most use out of it, being further up the tee and taking things earlier and quicker. Like this would come in really handy, but and digging things out of the back too, which I've been struggling with. It's crazy how many tins I've been hitting out of the back corners right now. So that's it. A quick comparison, and the point being that sometimes, even for one person, a racket can change over time as to what's giving you more power and more control, depending on how you're feeling. It goes to show that it's all about kind of how you feel, and also, and like I said before, how you feel can change. If you just practice with the racket, you're gonna get used to it. And so just whatever you have, as long as it's a decent racket, just stick with it. But those are my thoughts right now, and I know people have asked me for some other comparisons, and I'll be doing some more of these soon. All right, cool, thanks, bye.